name's Craig Colliass, captain of Team Saint. We are the team captain for Extreme Robots, which is Team Divinity. I entered robotics sort of a fairly natural way, in as much that I saw the heavyweights on Robot Wars, the original series, many years ago, and I thought, oh, I could do that. The reason why I decided to go for unconventional designs was in many ways quite personal and perhaps a little selfish. I just wanted to make something different for me. I just liked the idea of setting myself a goal and then making a robot work to certain restrictions. So for instance, Gabriel was made on the understanding that I wanted a robot that was reasonably good performance, but literally only had 2 electric motors in it. As a result of that, I managed to make a robot that hits really quite hard and is very difficult to stop. Gabriel, Zadkiel and Uriel are all the names of important angels. The reason is that if you actually have a theme, then people can identify with it easier. One of the advantages that we can have, unlike a lot of people, is we can actually change weapon formats. So we can have hammers, axes, sledgehammers. I've even had a pickaxe. The sword to my right, the red one, right at the back there, that is actually Series 8 Gabriel sword. And that was mostly designed to be practical, to be able to hit over most of the length of the sword and yet be fairly interesting for TV. So it was mostly for TV that we used that sword, because it was one that was completely different. This sword here, the one that that's actually the most practical one to use for competition today. The reason is that it's made of titanium, which is a very light, strong material, which means it can actually operate very quickly. There's not a lot of mass going over, so you increase the speed, and that makes it a lot easier to hit another robot. Bessie here, that's more of a show hammer. It doesn't really do a great deal of damage, but it just makes a very large thumping sound, and that one works quite well. And oh, got another one here. This one here is it's a double hit hammer. It actually has a slug of metal inside, so as it swings over, it hits the other robot, and then the slug of metal then hits again, so it tends to actually drive in. And the little point on the end there is actually made of tool steel, so the idea is it leaves a signature. Zadkiel was me thinking of something to make during the lockdown, basically. And I know it sounds weird, but it was the first time I'd really gone out to design a robot to win. I wanted to actually make a robot that people had to actually rethink their way of dealing with things, and that I also wanted to make a robot that, you know, certainly in the heavyweight class, no one's ever done before. And so Zadkiel with the propeller type spinner was what I decided to do. It's almost impossible to defend against, because depending on, you know, how lucky or unlucky you are, it can hit pretty much anywhere. It can hit the side of the robot, the front of the robot, it can hit the weapon, it can hit the top. What bits do you armor plate? What bits do you protect? Whatever you do, you can't protect everything. We're probably the favourite to win the spinner competition. That is in and of itself no guarantee whatsoever. I would say our chances are slim. The reason isn't because our robot isn't competitive. It's because in this sport, very rarely does the one that everyone says, oh yeah, that's definitely. It's usually some dumb thing that happens down the line. You know, a wire comes loose, or some bit comes off your robot and it gets jammed into the drive. It's always something like that happens. Toby is the mainstay with regards to the driving of our robots, mainly because he's the one who's had the experience, and he has the reaction times, and he's able to actually do all the necessary calculations in real time as you're actually driving the thing. I mean, it's quite phenomenal when I actually watch him drive. Sometimes I say to him, "Well, you didn't do very well that time," and he looks at me as if to say, "Do you want to have a go?" And I go, "No." I'm absolutely in awe. He can actually get Gabriel to sort of like literally power slide around. Now, getting a two-wheel big robot to be able to power slide around an arena is quite a feat. I mean, the balance that you need between drive, friction and all the other things is quite something. So he's a true artist. Sarah's coming up in leaps and bounds as well, and she's very enthusiastic to learn, and Toby's giving her some pointers, and we're giving her as much experience as we can during the shows to actually do the fights, because at the end of the day, the only way you get good is by doing it.
I'm Sarah, I'm the youngest of my dad's daughters, and I'm part of Team Divinity. I've been watching my brothers drive the robots for a while and sort of wanted to get involved a bit more. Toby's been teaching me how to drive, like speaking to me, talking me through it as I'm doing it. And it was a bit of a slow start, but I'm starting to get better at it, and hopefully I'll be driving Gabriel soon once I've sort of mastered driving Saint. But it's a tricky robot to drive, so I'm still working it out. I'm starting a mechanical engineering apprenticeship in September. So I've always had an interest to do with that sort of thing. But I'd say going to these robotic events and being able to see it in action, problem solving, everything like that, it's been really exciting to learn everything, and I've definitely learned a lot from my brothers and from Dad. I definitely think it will help me in my studies. It's given me a more practical experience, I'd say, as well as it puts you in situations you're not expecting, so obviously you've got to think on the spot.
What I'm doing is I'm looking at designing a flipper and also a hammer robot, both of which will be pneumatic. But I'm having to find out ways of doing it that hasn't been done before. And so at the moment I'm doing lots of research into different types of materials, different types of things that are out there. And I'm doing loads of tests and trials on these things to come up with something that's reasonably competitive, but essentially very different to what's around at the moment. I'm actually designing the new robots to be robots that actually have a front and a back, because most of mine don't have that. The idea of that is because I want Sarah to actually have robots that she's able to drive and that will be competitive, because she is a very competitive person. She wants to have a robot that fits her. And now she's in the team, I want to make sure she has robots that, I want to give her the equipment required to actually make the wins, because she deserves that. Materials choice is always fundamental to winning, and also to being able to afford to actually make the thing. I tend to go for plastics because they tend to absorb energy very well. They're soft and can be cut using a wood saw or something like that. But nobody in the arena uses a wood saw, so it doesn't bother me. You don't need to go for expensive materials. You need to have hardox where you need to have hardox. But if you don't need to have it, don't spend the money on it. With regards to equipment and so forth, and just general facilities that we have as a team, it's limited. We don't have any machine tools here. We've got a drill press, a welder, and then almost everything else is just hand tools, you know, pistol drills, hand grinders, that kind of thing. So we've got a very limited amount of facilities. As a result of that, quite a lot of the engineering stuff, the machining, what happens is I scour the internet for designs on, for instance, if you take the wheel hubs on Zadkiel, for instance, you know, I'd actually go to a supplier who actually makes hubs for instance, a car trailer or something like that. And then I'll buy the hub, and then I'll design the necessary machining to be done, and then take that away to an engineering company, and I have to get them to do that. But it's a lot cheaper than buying, you know, designing a whole wheel hub and getting it made bespoke. By actually just getting things modified and doing as much of the work as we can ourselves, it means that we can keep the costs down. So if anyone thinks, I'd like to do it, but I just don't have a workshop with all the stuff, we haven't got a workshop. and we do it.